Hey, I'm Ron Drotos from KeyboardImprov.com, and this is day 4 of our Rock Piano for Beginners Workout Challenge. Congratulations for making it this far. We've got a long way to go. We're going to learn different keys, different techniques, go through the whole thing to get you fluent. But the idea is that we're using everything at every step of the way, because if we're learning piano and there's always like, okay, you know that, now there's something harder, now there's something harder, now there's something harder, and it goes too quickly. What happens is piano sometimes turns into 20 years of never quite feeling you're good enough, right? And we're going to get past that. Rock and jazz and even classical music should be, you're playing and you're enjoying it, and when you learn something, that's when, you know, you've prepared the meal, you can eat it, right? You can enjoy the food. So that's what we're going to do. And I'm going to set my timer for 20 minutes, which will probably fly by like it always does. And okay, so this is the 4th day. You're in a rock band, 4th rehearsal, and you know the A blues scale pretty well, and you know you can play at a few different tempos. And now there's another guitarist in the room. You know, like you got like 3 guitarists and 2 saxes, and they all want to solo. So you're going to play chords today. We're going to work on chords mostly, maybe the whole thing. And we're going to play 3 chords, and they're all with just the white notes. So the first one is an A minor chord. This is with the right hand. A minor chord. So it's A, C, E. And I almost always use my 1st, 3rd, and 5th fingers, and you just kind of cup your hand, relaxed wrist, relaxed forearm, like a shock absorber there. You don't want to clench. And it's like you're holding an orange or tennis ball or something. Just play the A minor chord and listen to it. How often do we really listen to chords? We really don't. Now leave out the middle note. Just play the A and the E. You hear? It's missing that thing that tells you whether it's major or minor, because major and minor chords both have the same root and 5th. We know that, but do we experience it all the time? That's the magic. It's experiencing it. Right? Very pure sound. It's also called a power chord in rock. And then we add the C back in. It's a world of difference. Hearing those worlds of differences and things that we usually just take for granted is one of the keys to enjoying music more. Now we're going to move down 1 step to G, and it's G major. G, B, D. And then 1 more to F major. Let's just play those chords again. So it's A minor, G, listen to it, and then F. All right, so we're going to play a rock ballad, and we're going to play 4 measures, because a lot of music's in 4 measure phrases. And the first measure is going to be A minor, so 4 beats of A minor, then G major for 4 beats, and then 2 measures of F, so 8 beats. So it's A minor, G, F, F. And we're going to start just plunging in like I did, and I think most rock players. I'm not going to give you an exact way to play it, or how many iterations, whether it's going to be 8th notes or quarter notes or rhythms. You could sort of do what I'm doing, but I think it's better to just do your own thing. You just want to make sure you're playing the A minor for 4 beats, whether you're holding it down for all 4 or whether you're going like that. Okay? It's about staying on that horse, right? All right, and then we'll get into some specific rhythms. Here we go. 1, 2, A minor, go. G, F. You can just hold it down and listen. That's totally valid. A minor again. G, F. Another F. Now you can start mixing up the rhythms. Deeper into the sound and the groove. easily to you, just get into it like you're playing in a band. But if it's a little tricky, you'll get it. You'll get it. It's better to jump in like that and let your intuition and your instincts and your ears sort of guide you, rather than me or somebody opening a book or something and saying, here's one pattern, here's one pattern, here's one pattern. You learn that afterwards. It's like you're learning language. You first you try to imitate. You just try to do it on your own, and then you focus on, okay, that's a noun, that's a verb, right? If you listen to the classic rock stuff, Leon Russell, Elton John, Nicky Hopkins with the Rolling Stones, there's very little repetitive use of patterns, of rhythmic or rhythm patterns, really. They might have a basic concept for the song, but it's constantly shifting throughout measure to measure. That's the fun part about it. Here we go. Let's try it again. And I'm going to solo while you keep that chord pattern, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4. Now G. Now F. Now A minor. Boom. G. F. Look at the left hand. You could use one note, just an A, or you can use octaves. But remember, if you, we said the other day, if it's too much of a stretch, you don't have to use the octaves. And we're just going to do the left hand now. And what we're going to do is we're going to do something very common with bass players in rock. And Bill Wyman from the Stones would be a good example of this. Well, we're just going to play a whole note A. That's not so common, but in some it is. But then here's the common part. When we do the two measures of F, it's kind of the end of the phrase. We're going to play whatever rhythms we want. It can be different each time. So it could be like this. We play the A, 2, 3, 4, G, 2. Now, whatever you want. 1, 2, 3, 4, bum, 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 bum. Just like your little kid hitting pots and pans in the kitchen or something to music, okay? It's just the left hand alone. 1, 2, here we go. A for a whole note. Now G, 2, 3. Now any rhythms. Bum, 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 bum. A, 2, 3, 4. G, 2, 3, 4. F, 2, 3, 4. Bum, bum, bum. Whatever you want. G, just keep holding those for whole notes. Now anything you want. Try to do that while you hold the chords in the left hand. Now, if you want, if you've already done this before and you can just jam, you'll play different rhythms, or you could just do whole notes in the right hand and do that same bass, okay? Or if you just want to do the right hand or just the left hand, it's fine, because that's what happens when you get in a rock band. You play what you can, right? This isn't the practicing part, this is the playing part. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, any rhythms you want in the left hand, or maybe even the right too. You can do the same rhythm in both. right like a kick drum rhythm. We're going to go boom, 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 boom. Even on the F. Boom, 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 boom. Here's the A minor. Boom, 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 boom. If you want to do this with your right hand on 2 and 4, you can. Good practice, or snap. Dancing. Nowhere to go, just have fun. Get into it. Now we're going to add the right hand in whole notes. Now we're going to add the right hand like we were tapping before on 2 and 4. But if it's too much, you could just do the right hand if you want. So it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. Right? 1, 2, here we go. Boom. That's not something I do all the time, and especially in a band. That's more of a guitar thing in the right hand, playing on 2 and 4. A lot of times the pianist will play, especially on organ or keyboard, will play the whole notes, and the guitarist will play on 2 and 4. So at the same time you get these 2 layers between the keyboardist and the guitarist. But when I'm playing solo piano, this is one of the secrets, I don't always play like I would in a band. I'll actually play some things that are drum-like or some things that are guitar-like to sort of mix it up. So let's do that. Let's play this. You can play whatever you want in the right hand. You can do whole notes, different rhythms, or we'll play this boom, 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 boom. Then on the F, we'll play any rhythm we want, the same in both hands. Like we're a drummer. Boom, 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 you know, going around the tom-toms, okay? 1, 2, A minor. Rhythms you want there. Just stay on with me with the tempo. Keep going. By the way, we've talked in the last couple days about staying in one little area for a while. I'm kind of doing that. I'm just moving. I'm not going all the way just up and down the scale. I'm staying with these 3, then I'm staying with these 3, but I'm shifting between them pretty quickly sometimes. That's something you can develop over time, or you could practice afterwards. Yeah, what was I going to say? I had something else, but I'll have to wait because I forgot. Maybe that. Oh, I know what it was. So when I was in middle school, in like 7th and 8th grade, in where I went to school, I played guitar. And then my guitar broke when I was going into 9th grade, and I got a keyboard and never looked back, right? But one of the things I realized over the years is that I improvise with the blues scale more like a guitarist than just a pianist. Pianists sometimes will play little riffs, and we'll learn some of those going on, but I'll definitely think of a guitar, you know. You know, like a Clapton or something, you know. And then they go a little higher. You know, air guitar, right? So let's see. Let's do it a little faster. And just, again, get into the groove, into the groove, into the groove. So you can do anything you want. You can do right hand, left hand, but I'm not necessarily doing that same pattern. Just listen to what I'm playing, like I'm the drummer or the guitarist, the bass player, and you just play whatever you want. You can even just go for a while and just sort of listen to what I'm doing, right? It's about staying on board. Okay, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. You play one, and then you put the other one down. The jazz pianist Thelonious Monk would do that sometimes. Sounds like you're bending a note. So you hold down the D here, and then you put the E flat up afterwards. See, it's like you're bending the note on the guitar or something. All right, so now let's go to the blues scale. Let's bring that back in. Remember the A, C, D, E flat, E, G, A. So I'm going to accompany you now at that tempo, and you can either play the bass notes or just play in the right hand if you want. Usually pianists in rock don't really play the chords in the left hand. Not sure why. Maybe they get in the bass player's way sometimes. But you could. You could also play an open fifth, like E for the A minor chord, A, E, A, and the octave. You play those power chords. But you could just, I generally play the octaves, and that's what like a Billy Joel would usually do too. Here we go. 1, you're in a solo. 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Right? there we go. 20 minutes is up. Again, flies by, right, when you're having fun. There's a great story I want to leave you by. I was reading an interview with Don Was, who is a musician in his own right, but he produces the Rolling Stones. And he said one of the first times he ever produced them, he was in the studio, and Keith Richards, the guitarist, was in the booth, the recording booth. And Keith says, come on in, I'm working on a couple of chords. And Don Was picked up a guitar, and before he went in, he asked the engineer to put on a reel-to-reel tape. And I think each one's like a half hour long, the 2-inch reels. Either a half hour or 45 minutes. So he, or something like that. So he, I don't know, it was just a couple chords like we were just playing. And they just got into it, and Don Was said it was so amazing because he'd never played with Keith before. And Keith just immerses himself in the music. And so they played for what Don Was thought was like, a half hour or so. And he comes out and he says to the engineer, he goes, did you get it all on the reel? He goes, what do you mean? He goes, well, yeah, did you get it all? He says, we used 4 reels. They've been playing for like 2 hours. And he never, and he was already a professional musician. He had never experienced the depth of just getting into these chords like until he played with Keith Richards that time. So that's something we can all just get deeper and deeper into the music. Thanks for being here. There's a few buttons or things you can click if you like to subscribe to my YouTube channel, to click that picture of me. I've also put a video that you may enjoy, something else I've done. And also if you want some additional rock pop lessons that go a little more in depth into the nuts and bolts of it, you can find those there at KeyboardImprov.com. Thanks for being here. Good luck with your music, and thanks for coming along for the ride, and I'll see you tomorrow.